Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Throw Like a Girl Radio, WBCR's first all-female sports talk show here on Brooklyn College Radio every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm Alyssa Paolicelli.
And I'm KaraAnne Galante.
It's been a great week for Throw Like a Girl Radio. Thank you again for your continued support and for tuning in to Throw Like a Girl Radio today. Myself and Kara will be with you for the next hour. You can listen to us in a number of different ways. First, by streaming off of mywbcr.com or downloading the TuneIn Radio app and searching Brooklyn College Radio. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media accounts, facebook.com/throwlikeagirlradio, Twitter @throwlike_girl, and Instagram throwlikeagirlradio, one word. We have our intern Samantha Rodriguez updating our Twitter via live feed, so make sure you're following us there.
Yes, and we have a great show for you today. So much has happened in the world of sports this past week. If you guys would like to join in on our conversation, the number is 718-951-4444. Don't forget that is the number you can always call in and join our conversation at any point during the hour. The number is 718-951-4444. And now we're going to start off this show with the new segment we call Why We Love Sports this week. So if any of you guys have heard, the goaltender Pecorine of the Nashville Predators, while they were versing the New York Islanders, he couldn't help. I know. He couldn't help but get distracted because a puck that he patted away was deflected into the stands, and as he was following the puck hit an 11-year-old girl in the arm named Mia, and she was celebrating her birthday that day. So during the game, she went to
First aid.
That's it. The whole period she went to first aid, and Pecorine felt bad. So when she came back after the intermission, there was a happy birthday surprise for her. He signed his stick saying "Happy Birthday, Mia," and that he was sorry. And I thought that was very heartfelt and a great way to start off the show.
Yeah, it was very, very cute. I love that she's 11-year-old girl going to a hockey game to celebrate her birthday.
Yes, that's awesome.
She would be a great addition to the show. We should see if she can call in.
Yeah, I hope so. So Mia, if you're listening, you could call in.
So speaking of goalies,
yes,
another thing that happened this past week, a very interesting situation happened in Florida. Last Thursday, I believe, versus the Maple Leafs.
Yes, the Toronto Make Me Laughs.
Yes. It's funny because their hashtag on Twitter is hashtag TML Talk. So I always think it's like LOL, and I don't know. I just think it's a bad social media move for a team that's not doing so well. But anyway. Basically, both of the Florida Panthers goalies were injured during the game, which is a very rare occurrence. They didn't have someone else to their starter, Roberto Luongo.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah, I was practicing his name before the show, so I'm glad I got it now. He was hurt originally, so they had their backup, Al Montoya, playing during the game, but he was injured. So now they had their starter and their backup injured, and I guess they didn't have someone else pulled up. They might have, but I don't think his equipment was there.
Okay.
So their goalie coach, Rob Tallis, played 8 years in the NHL. Last game he played was in 2001.
Against what team, Alyssa?
Against the New York Rangers. And so he had change into the goalie equipment after so that he was on the bench. So he was, if need be, he would had to have gone in. But it turned out that Roberto came back and played the rest of the game for them, even though he was injured. So
he's such a trooper. He really is, Roberto Luongo. And also, they're hoping to make the playoffs, the Panthers.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But also, with the Florida Panthers, their PR, which is genius, after this happened, they are holding a contest for a new backup goaltender. And they would have tryouts under the goaltending coach, Rob Tallis. And a lucky fan will get the opportunity to sign a one-day amateur tryout and serve as Florida's backup practice goalie for a day. And you have to be 18 years or older to submit your resumes to the Panthers.
That's a really great idea.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
So
goalies out there, you could try out for the Panthers if you really wanted to.
And another weird thing that happened with the situation, the coach, Robert Tallis, had to 2 years ago, exactly from that date, March 3rd, 2013, he had to be another emergency backup during a game against the Hurricanes because the original backup goalie was called up from the AHL in San Antonio, Texas, but his luggage was lost with all his equipment, so he wasn't able to go in because he didn't have his equipment.
That's crazy.
So isn't it weird that exactly 2 years from the date, the same situation happened to the same guy? I think it's like the hockey gods saying, we want you back in the league or something.
Yeah, it might be, or maybe something's going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs that we don't know about. about. You never know with that team. That team is
the
fans are going crazy with the Toronto Maple Leafs. They think they're very disgraced.
It's Canada's one of Canada's main teams, of course.
Yeah, it's their
hockey.
sport. It's the heart. And I would feel the same exact way. So that's the end of our segment for Why We Love Sports. And Throw Like a Girl Radio, which is WBCR's first all-female sports talk show with myself, KaraAnne Galante, and Alyssa Paolicelli. We'll be right back with you after a short break. Make sure you are following us on all of our new social media accounts, Facebook.com/ThrowLikeAGirlRadio, Twitter @ThrowLikeA_girl, and Instagram ThrowLikeAGirlRadio. Right now, we'll be listening to Derek Brassard's game-winning goal from the Rangers' 1-0 win against the Chicago Blackhawks. We will dive right into this topic right after this. Stay tuned.
Neither team scores over the 5 minutes. Then we will head to a shootout. Matt Zuccarello with the puck. Across to Derek Brassard. Big drive. He scores! 32 seconds into overtime. It's the second overtime winner for Derek Brassard this season. Rangers over the Blackhawks, 1-0.
Zuccarello with great patience. Crawford out, beats him short side, and the Rangers win this game in overtime. Head up, about 17 feet out. But this play was made in the neutral zone, Kenny. You see that? That's Derek Brassard. He's the last Ranger back. He moves his puck up to Zuccarello. Look where he is. He finds this open ice, and Zuccarello with just a terrific pass, a breakdown in coverage by the Blackhawks, and Brassard makes them pay.
And we are back. Throw Like a Girl Radio here on WBCR Brooklyn College Radio from 4 to 5 every Tuesday. Make sure you are following us on all of our social media accounts. Facebook.com/ThrowLikeAGirlRadio, Twitter @ThrowLikeA_girl, and Instagram ThrowLikeAGirlRadio. And you guys just listened to that awesome game-winning goal by Derek Brassard, which the Rangers won 1-0 against the Chicago Blackhawks. What was it, on Sunday
night, yep.
And that was such a great game. What do you think about it, Alyssa?
Well, I missed the game-winning goal because my printer stopped working, but I was watching the first two periods, and it was a very well-played game. I think that Cam Talbot was very good. I thought he had a very strong game. So I think overall the Blackhawks are always a good team, especially even without Patrick Sharp. They have picked up
and even Patrick Kane.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I meant Patrick Kane. Patrick Sharp is playing for them.
Yeah.
But even with their pickup with Antoni Vermidi, he's a very good substitute for their situation, and they still played really well. And it was, 29 seconds into overtime?
Yeah, it was a very quick win. And what killed the Rangers, again,
power play.
The penalties. You guys got to be more... you just got to stop with these penalties. You got to be more disciplined with your play.
And there was actually two penalties on the Rangers.
Yes.
Then three. I believe it was 3 penalties on the Rangers. Then one given to the Rangers in a power play for the Rangers, and then another penalty. So they gave the Blackhawks 4 power play chances.
Yes, and with Cam Talbot in goal, I was freaking out because you never know with Cam. You never know he's very inconsistent sometimes. But right now, I feel like he's getting the groove of actually being a starting goaltender with Henrik Lundqvist out.
I actually think that in this year's free agency that he will end up being picked up by another team as their starter. I think that this is really good for his career as far as him having a platform and a record to show that.
So you don't think the Rangers are going to re-sign him?
No, I don't. I think that he's going to, especially with their cap space issue that, again, they'll be facing this summer, they're going to have to let go of some people, and I do think that they'll get a big return on him. So they're going to have to give him up because, like I said, this is a good showing for him. He has the stats. He was, you're gonna hear from him later.
Yeah, he was a 3rd star of the week with He was the 3rd star of the week in the NHL. Yeah. So because he's been playing really awesome, and also the Rangers earned their 40th win of the season in tonight's contest. So they've been playing awesome as of late right now. And they're also, right now, they are 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have 87 points right now. And they've only played 64 games. And we have 2 games in hand. Because the Montreal Canadiens are number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And we also have a chance to winning the President's Trophy this year with the number of games we have in hand, which is amazing. The Rangers have been on a roll, and they've just been steamrolling through these teams, these top teams, such as the Chicago Blackhawks. It's been a great game. And also the Rangers, it's been, I think, their first shutout against the Blackhawks since Eddie Jockerman played.
And I also think that there's another stat I heard last night, Sunday night in the post game, where Cam Talbot averages like a shutout every 5 games or something.
Yeah, keep putting Talbot in every single 5 games. Put Talbot in. Yeah, it was Talbot as actually the first Rangers goaltender to post a shutout in Chicago since December 25th, 1966.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
That is insane, and he's been crazy. He's been crazy good, Cam Talbot, and I'm very proud with the way he has progressed from where he was last year to this year.
I also think that speaking of all the power plays that Chicago had that night, our penalty kill has been pretty sharp.
Oh, it was great.
Derek Stepan has been awesome on the penalty kill, and
thank God Derek Stepan was on the ice. I think it was a penalty on Derek Stepan, but they put Chris Kreider in the box instead.
I heard that too. I was like, that was a gift to the Rangers. Thank you.
Thank you, refs. We really do appreciate that. The Rangers really need all we could get sometimes, and that was really nice of you guys with that mistake.
But big night tonight for the Rangers. It's the last regular season matchup between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders at Nassau Coliseum.
Oh.
So I'm sure it won't be the last time the Rangers are in that building, because as much as this forms a huge pit in my stomach, I do think they will meet up in the playoffs, and I do think it'll go all 7 games, because that's what the Rangers love to do in the playoffs. But me and Kara were talking about this before. How great would it be as a Rangers fan? How satisfied would you be to shut out the Nassau Coliseum with the Rangers Game 7 playoff win? That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
As a Rangers fan, I would be ecstatic. If I was an Islanders fan, I'd be dying.
I wouldn't come out of my house.
I would be in depression and mourning and wearing black every single day. That's what, you know what's funny? When the Rangers last year, I don't want to bring back this memory, but when they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, I actually wore black for a whole week. And I was just in my room mourning the loss of the Rangers. If that's how big of a New York Rangers fan I am. And I don't know if any of you Ranger fans have one crazy like that, like I have. But that's just how I am. I don't know. They're a team to my heart.
I didn't want to see anybody who wasn't a Rangers fan. Even if someone wasn't a team that I didn't like, I just didn't want to talk to them, because I know that I was so obnoxious on Twitter, constantly tweeting, painting my face, doing the crazy things. And when they lost, it was just it was horrible, and I just didn't want to face anybody after that.
It's been... Okay, no more. We're not going to talk about this subject anymore, because the Rangers, I guarantee that they will be in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. If they keep playing like this, I think they are a Stanley Cup contending team.
I think so too, and I think that they have to win this year or next year in order for that trade that we spoke about last week with Keith Yandel, Anthony Duclair, and John Moore, that hold in the first round pick.
Yeah.
It won't be worth it if they don't. So I'm hoping that they do. I won't be in the U.S. if they are in the Stanley Cup Finals, which will be devastating. That will be just my luck. They'll win the cup, and I'll be in another country. But
maybe it's a sign.
Yeah, I will bring my Rangers jersey. I will run around Italy with my Rangers jersey if they win, and when they win, because we're gonna talk like they are gonna win. Because
we are.
Good
I
vibes,
am a confident
positive
Rangers
vibes.
fan. So if any of you Islander fans want to call in and try to say that the Islanders are gonna make the Stanley Cup, I don't think so. I think the Rangers have that upper hand against the Islanders.
I agree.
Even though we've only won 1 game this year with the whole series.
Doesn't matter what happens in the regular season.
I know that.
I keep telling people that.
I know that the playoffs is a whole new season, guys. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
It's
Miracles
a whole different
do happen.
animal.
Yeah, and the Rangers also have at least registered 1 point in 13 of their last 14 contests. They've gone 10-1-3, and that's just how Cam Talbot has been. You see, it reflects on our record over here.
I think he's done a great job with, filling the big shoes of Henrik Lundqvist. Also, forgot, injury update, Henrik Lundqvist should be back. I think it was reported on Thursday of last week. He has 7 to 10 days left in recovery before he can play. So I think he's finally, I don't know if he's able to have full contact yet in practice, but the end is near, Rangers fans. The King will return soon, very soon.
But you know what scares me with Lundqvist? Will he be back to normal?
Will
it take him a couple of games to get his groove back? That's what scares me the most about it, because we have been on this high right now, and I don't know.
I do think that he will come back to his full playing ability, because I don't think that Glenn would have made that trade on the condition of not knowing whether or not Lundqvist was going to be 100%.
Yeah, but we know how he is, though. In the beginning of the season, you know how he has to get his feet a little bit wet before he gets to full King Lundqvist beast mode.
I don't know. I just think that the condition of that trade is, like we said, it's a win now move. I don't think the trade would have been made if they weren't 100% certain that he was going to return with no problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
I'll
it's
take
a
your
bold
word for it,
statement.
Alyssa.
It's
I know it is a bold statement.
But I really do think that trade would have been reconsidered greatly if they didn't think that he was going to return to full capacity, full ability.
I just hope Lundqvist comes back healthy and full. And tonight's Islander Ranger matchup, please, guys, fans, be safe.
Yes.
Really, because the last game I went to, like I said before, it was insane. And fans, you took it really too personal. It's not worth a life over when getting into car accidents and things like that. So please be safe at Nassau Coliseum, especially Ranger fans. Please be safe. Bring some protection or armor or something with you. But
I just want the hockey fans of New York to appreciate the perfect situation we have right now. We have two great teams in playing competitively against one another for the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get better than that. It's so fun when both teams from your city compete against each other because it creates that sort of friendly competition. It should be friendly. It's not always friendly, of course, but appreciate what we have because it's been almost 2 decades since both teams were relevant in the playoff talks.
Yes,
it's appreciate it, enjoy it.
Yes, it's crazy. So Rangers, good luck tonight. I hope you beat the Islanders.
Please.
Please, we're begging you over here.
All right, so we're gonna start our new segment. Where Are They Now? Hockey Edition.
Yes.
So here's our new intro music to the segment. Let us know what you think.
Here we go. And we are back to Throw Like a Girl. My name is KaraAnne Galante, and I'm with Alyssa Paolicelli. And we're starting off our new segment, Where Are They Now? Hockey Edition. And the first person I want to talk about is no one other but Matt Gilroy.
Matt Gilroy.
Yes, I saw a picture of him. It just came to my mind. I saw a picture of him on Facebook of where he is now, where he is playing. And it just brought back memories when he was with the New York Rangers. So we're going to start off with Matt Gilroy. Right now, he's 30 years old, and he plays for the KHL, the Moscow Oblast.
Oblast Alant.
Yes, so
Atlant, yes. One of the KHL
yes,
teams.
He's a defenseman. Obviously, he played 60 games with them. He still plays with them. And he scored 9 goals and 24 assists. And remember Matt Gilroy?
I do. Actually, a funny story. He lives around, I believe he's from Belmore, Long Island. And
yes, he's Belmore, New York. North Belmore.
He lives around the corner from my aunt and uncle, so maybe I'll see him. I think they're actually coming to me this weekend, so never mind. I won't see him out there. But I remember when he was picked up by the Rangers, and I would always be at their house for block parties and whatnot. I'm like, I wonder if the Gilroys are here. I wonder. But I don't think I've ever met them or seen them. But he played 5 seasons in the NHL, 4 different teams, one of them being the Rangers.
Yes.
Played for 3 AHL teams during his professional career, and has now moved on to the KHL. So,
yes, we wish you nothing but the best, Matt Gilroy. But what I want to say, I remember when he was making his debut for the Rangers, he was undrafted too. He went to Boston University, and he was a Hobey Baker winner. And I remember a lot of people were comparing him to Brian Leetch, and it just didn't. I remember him playing for the Rangers, and he had such high expectations for him, but it just didn't work out.
How old was he? If he's 30 now, played 5 seasons in the NHL. He was 22 at the time. That's a really bold statement to make for a 22-year-old.
Well, he was a Hobey Baker winner, and I think wasn't Brian Leetch a Hobey Baker winner too?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was a Hobey Baker winner in his senior year, and there was so much high expectations with Gilroy, and also we brought him back too.
Right. Yes, he did come back for a little while, but very short, right?
Yeah. After he was released from the Rangers, and then he signed with the Florida Panthers. And then he went on to re-sign in the AHL. He played for the San Antonio Rampage, and just that's about it. Now he's in the KHL.
So that's our new segment. Next week, who should we talk about next week?
Sean Avery.
I
want to get
preview.
to Sean Avery. Right now, we're just being light with Matt Gilroy, but next week it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna do Sean Avery, and right now he's engaged to Hillary Rhoda. She's a model, and he blocked me on Twitter.
I think he's private on Twitter now. I don't think you can any fan can just openly follow him.
Yeah, but he blocked me though.
You get blocked by Kara gets blocked by a lot of NHL players. I'm just gonna say that she every time we talk about something, she's like, "Oh, he blocked me," and I'm like, "What do you say to these people on Twitter that you block them?"
I know, but I don't say anything. Okay, there's no cursing. There's nothing bad. It's just I'm expressing my feelings and my opinion. And if they can't take it from a girl, then I don't know. There's so much crazy things that New York media says about these players, and they don't block those media outlets. But I just say one honest, true thing, and they just block me. I don't know. I don't think the Rangers like me that much.
I think you always hit the hot buttons on the players you tweet. She
got
blocked. Oh well, she's not. She got blocked by Michael Dozzato. I have never been blocked by Michael Dozzato. Tweeted him plenty of times, but she is one of like the million people that he's blocked on Twitter.
Yes, and I don't know. Maybe he just saw my name and he's like, "Oh, let's just block Kara for the day." I don't know.
You probably just get them at bad points when they're on like blocking rampages.
I do. It's crazy. Well, we're switching our gears from hockey, the sport that we love, to some baseball with the New York Mets. So we have spring training updates for you. Take it away, Alyssa.
So, first games of spring training started this past week. Matt Harvey, yes, the return of Harvey Day has come back, and he did not disappoint. He only threw 2 innings, but they were 2 perfect innings, and tapped out his fastball at 98 miles per hour.
Harvey is back, ladies and gentlemen.
I am so excited. Now, because the tricky thing about what's going on with the Mets is that they open up against the Phillies at home, but they start the season against the Nationals, which they also have an awesome pitching roster.
Yeah.
So the tricky thing is they're trying to get Matt Harvey to be the opening day pitcher at Citi Field because obviously that'll bring in
a bunch of people.
Exactly, bring a bunch of people, bring a bunch of revenue. It just will be a good start to an already anticipated season.
It will.
So the tricky thing is, though, trying to figure out how to stack the pitching against the Nationals. So I'm sure Terry Collins will probably screw it up in some way because he always seems to do that. But hopefully Matt Harvey will be starting on April 13th at Citi Field, Flushing.
Let's hope, 'cause I want to see that.
Where Kara will be in attendance at work at FanFest.
I hope so. We'll see what happens. But I just want to bring up the Mets rotation. And, okay, as a Met fan, I'm not really that impressed. I'm not.
The pitching rotation?
I'm not. The starting rotations, I'm not impressed.
What?
I was reading an article, and it scares me, okay? I was reading one of the articles from Mets blog, and they were saying how we have the Major's oldest starter, Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, well, he's going to be gone by the middle of the season. All right.
We have Jonathan Neese, who has a lot of shoulder problems.
And a temper.
2 Tommy John surgery people from Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom, and Zach Wheeler, who is very inconsistent. Like, some games he's amazing, and other games he's a nightmare. And with that 13-2 loss against the Marlins the other day, and how he gave up, I think it was, 6 runs in, like, an inning and 2/3?
I think we might have found something we disagree on strongly because Okay, listen to me. Matt Harvey, Jacob deGrom, Zach Wheeler.
Yes.
The big 3. No question about it.
No question.
No question.
I'm just scared with injuries. That's
Bartolo Colon is going to be gone halfway through the season. They wanted to trade him before, but they weren't getting the value back.
They're not going to get any
value
if they
honestly,
trade him.
what they want to do is I think that one of his biggest problems with him not being a value on the market is because he is so heavy. And that's because it puts a lot of pressure on his knees from pitching, so he's prone to more injury. And I think because he's already so much older, but I do think they'll get some. If he has a good first half of the season, they will get something for him before the trade line.
And also Dylan G, though.
Dylan G, I don't know. I heard that
trade him, but
I don't think they are anymore.
No, they're not.
Because Darvish from the Rangers,
yes.
I thought he was going to go to the Rangers, but reports have said multiple times that they are not interested in Dylan G.
Yeah, because he's going for Tommy John surgery. Darvish.
Yeah.
He's going for Tommy John.
And the thing you said about Jacob deGrom and Matt Harvey having Tommy John surgery. Jacob deGrom had Tommy John surgery before he reached the majors, which a lot of minor league players are doing now just to get it out of the way, because once they get out of the way, they don't have to worry about it.
What's the point of it, though? Honestly, I don't understand
because
the point of Tommy John surgery.
Because it fixes the problem in the shoulder.
Yeah.
But if you get it done before, you don't have that part of your shoulder to injure. So that's a lot of this is a big discussion actually, because parents of little leaguers, young kids who are on the rise to going to college, wanting to get recruited to play for these D1 schools, get money. They put their kids into get that surgery before they get recruited, so that they don't have to worry about this injury while they're playing.
Honestly, I think that's crazy. If
it is crazy.
If it's unnecessary and you don't need it, I don't understand why you would spend all that money even on healthcare just to go for that surgery.
I agree. I think it is crazy, but I do think that you can't use that as an argument to knock Jacob deGrom, because I think
I love Jacob DeGrom. The flow is on point. I love your hair. Don't you dare cut it, because it's apparently making the ball faster when you throw it, the speed of the ball. I don't even know with the hair, but I'm just hesitant with these injuries. It's killing us. I don't know. I think that Matt Harvey, Jacob DeGrom, and Wheeler, if they stay healthy, are going to be a tough rotation to beat. They have one of the best pitching staffs in all of Major League Baseball, without a doubt. Well, if they play to their expectations, yes.
Right, and I don't think that...
I don't know. I'm just scared just looking at these reports.
Spring training is weird because these players don't get as amped and as focused as they would normally for a regular season game. They also only get a very small amount of innings. Like the most innings thrown by a pitcher, I think, was by Jacob DeGrom. Yeah. He threw 3 innings. Yeah. And, Zach Wheeler, those 6 runs weren't all him. He got taken. They were credited to him because of his mistakes, but he technically wasn't on the mound for, I believe, 3 of them. So he did have a rough outing, and he always starts off slow, just like Henrik Lundqvist. I don't know. I'm excited for the Mets pitching. I'm excited for the Mets season. I do think something was interesting.
No, I'm excited too, but it's just I'm a hesitant Mets fan because I don't want my heart to be broken again. So many promises, and Sandy Alderson is just killing me slowly.
Actually, funny, after the loss yesterday, like Kara said before, they lost to the Marlins 13-2.
Yeah, 13-2.
Before Terry Collins was coming out for his press conference, he was delayed a little bit by Mr. Wilpon.
Fred Wilpon is finally getting involved in the team, everybody.
And Terry came out and said, "Oh, he loves talking about this team. He wants to be involved." And as opposed to him never being at, I think I've worked at Citi Field for how long? I've seen him around maybe a couple of times.
Yeah, I think Fred Wilpon's now getting nervous because he sees now
they have so much
money-wise.
Exactly.
You need attendance to make money, and if no fans are coming, the Mets are not going to be making any money.
They'll make money this year.
Yeah,
at least they'll make money for the first half of the year.
Yeah, because Fred Wilpon, I think, is getting nervous, and also Terry Collins, his job is on the line too.
That's very true, and I mean, if they do well, his job won't be on the line, but I want them to do well, but I'm not a fan of Terry Collins.
But it's not Collins' fault, though. I don't think it's his fault how the Mets are playing.
You don't think it's his fault?
I don't think it's Terry Collins' fault. Look what Fred Wilpon has given him. Like, what are you going to work? How are you going to work with that?
He has the pitching.
I know right now the pitching is awesome right now. But even years before.
Okay. I don't know. I think that they're
we're going to show you the door like mid-season if the Mets are going to have a slow start this year.
No, I don't think they would show him the door mid-season.
Are you sure?
No, but I don't see that happening because who would they pick up in his place? If they were going to make him, honestly, because they didn't pick up Joe Madden in the offseason, they should have done that. I don't think if they're going to drop Terry Collins for Joe Madden, they're not going to let him go in the middle of the season. That wouldn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah, but his record, Terry Collins with the Mets, it's 304 and 304 wins and 344 losses.
Almost to 500, but
so close. 40 more wins off.
Almost 500, like the Mets have been every year since he's been manager.
That reflects so much, you guys. And I just hope this year the Mets I just hope we win. I really do.
Before we move on.
Wait, I just want to say one more thing.
Sure, yeah, because I have one more thing to say.
Yes, when I was watching, they were versing the Boston Red Sox, the Mets. The game lasted for 3 hours. And remember the new MLB rules? The game is supposed to go a little bit quicker. I don't know if they were incorporating the rules in that game, but that took forever.
I think they said that in the rule changes that they were going to implement them during spring training.
Yeah, but I didn't see it at all. It was 3 hours.
So it proves that how much these rules are probably just making the game sloppier. Like we talked about.
It was crazy because then I was looking at the batter's foot in the box and he was just, I don't know if he was going against the rules because I'm totally confused about these rules. So MLB, please clarify this with us because we have no idea what's going on. But that game was 3 hours long, so I thought the game was going to be 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes, and it took a really long time.
I mean, the rule of thumb for me was always 3 innings equals 1 hour. So 9 innings, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I feel like every time I go to a game, it happens to be a lot quicker, and I'm like, wow, I spent this money to come here, and it's already over.
Yeah.
before that would definitely be something we need to keep an eye on, especially working there. Maybe our hours are going to get cut with all these rule changes, or maybe they'll be extended with trying to implement the rules. Who knows?
I'm happy. I'm per DM. I'm good. You could be as long, as short as you guys want. It won't. I don't think it will affect me that much. But I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for the Mets, and I hope we all do well this year.
Kirk Neuenhuis, just really quick before we leave.
How do you spell his last name? Don't even look at the paper.
I have to look at the paper. I can't not look at the paper.
We should do that. A contest on Throw Like a Girl. Whoever could spell.
I would lose. I am a horrible,
me
horrible
too. That
speller.
name is insane.
So he has actually been playing really well. He's been one of those people who have been pulled up and down from the AAA team, but he went 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored on Sunday, is now hitting .600 and 9 for 15 in the Grapefruit League play, which is, I hope he continues because I always liked him. I always thought he was a good player.
Great utility player.
Yeah, definitely. You can just throw him wherever, and I thought he always produced, but he doesn't have a role yet. So hopefully he can find his role during spring training, and hopefully Terry Collins will see that role.
And also I was listening to an interview with Michael Kadire, and he's actually the team magician. So I'm thinking if he could use some of that magic and give the Mets a World Series or something. Come on, use that. Use your magic for good, Michael. Put it into the Mets.
Wait, Michael Kadire or Kirk Neuenhuis is the magician?
Michael Kadire. He's a team magician. They were interviewing him, and he's apparently impressing a lot of the players. So I'm like, you could use it during the game. Maybe, make the ball go another way. Maybe out of the stadium. Use some of that magic for us. Michael.
But also another thing that's kind of we're spending too much time in the Mets, but rightfully so.
Yes, that team gives me
a lot of the reports coming out of spring training from the Mets have been kind of negative. I don't know if anyone have heard about the Syndergaard, David Wright, and Parnell issue. Mm-hmm. He was not on the bench during one of the games, and he was actually eating inside the clubhouse. So David Wright and Bobby Parnell went inside to say, come on, dude, you should be sitting on the bench, not eating during the game. But they did it with media around, so who actually knows how it was said? But Bobby Parnell did throw his food in the trash during this, so it did come off a little bit hostile in the media.
Yeah.
They apologized.
But the media always blows up things.
Of course they do. But still, didn't really like that his food was thrown out. Whatever. He should have been on the bench regardless. That was his fault. But another thing happened where David... Fred Wilpon has brought in an all-inclusive representative from the MLB to basically they're trying to make baseball a place where people of all races, sexuality, and are accepted and comfortable in the locker room. So they have a representative. His name escapes me right now, but he is openly gay. He was an MLB player.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that too with the Daniel Murphy
And Daniel Murphy made a lot of comments about how he doesn't agree with his lifestyle, but he wouldn't close his door to getting to know him.
Yeah, he's a devout Christian.
But why would you say that? I don't know. I just think that's not... I have no problem with you. You're right to think what you think, even if I don't agree with it.
Yes.
But saying that to media, don't you think... You didn't think that was going to start a stir?
I think it was, but it's what... I don't know. It's what Daniel Murphy believes in, And I feel like he spoke his mind. He said what he had to say, and I don't think it was anything controversial about it. It's what a guy believes in. He's not going to treat the guy any different.
I just think when you disagree with someone's lifestyle, because that's offensive on many levels. You're calling it a lifestyle, number one, which is very offensive to begin with.
But that's how his religion views it too.
I guess, but I don't. Playing in a place like New York, I don't think that those comments, are necessary, especially when you know how New York media is. You know how the media is in general. Yeah. You should know not to. I think.
He should know better. His agent should have warned him or told him about it. I think he should have. It should have never been brought up in the spotlight. Maybe pull him to the side and say how he feels, just to get off his chest if it was something that was on his mind. But other than that, I don't think it should have been blown out into the media and said to people.
That's true, but I guess if you don't want
it, wasn't it a question or something?
It was a question, which is kind of weird because I feel like maybe the media targeted him knowing his beliefs.
Yep, I think they did too.
But I don't know.
There's always some ulterior motive sometimes with the media. So they can get a story out of the Mets. But I can't believe Fred Wilpon can afford that.
I think it might be a mandate by the MLB.
Okay,
so maybe that's
I hope
why.
it's a mandate. Unless Fred Wilpon, I think we could put the money towards something else.
Maybe a shortstop.
Yeah, maybe that. You never know, Freddie boy. And also, there's also a story going around about an MLB player living out of his van.
I read about this.
during spring training. I think that's insane, and I think it's awesome.
It's a very weird story to begin with, because living out of your van when he's one of the number one pitching prospects, Daniel Norris. But he says that he uses this as a way to kind of get focused for the season when because when you come into the season, he no longer has the luxury to have this simplistic lifestyle, which I guess you got to respect.
No, I do respect him. He also just signed a $2 million bonus, so that's why people are a little shocked that he's living out of a 1978 Volkswagen behind a Walmart. And I give him a lot of respect for it. He's actually down to earth. He doesn't have to have these fancy things to have a life as a baseball player. I think
when the article I read, the reporter went along with him on a normal day, and he pulled up to spring training, and he was like making eggs in the back of his van, and all the players were like, "Why don't you just eat the food that's like inside that they make for us?" And he's like, "Well, this is relaxing." It was kind of funny to see how other MLB players are perceiving it.
And watching might be like a Cy Young Award winner this year due to the fact of his lifestyle.
That would be interesting.
I think that would be funny, and I think that would be a great story for the MLB. I really do respect a guy who's not really that materialistic. He just goes and he plays the sport, and he plays it well. Apparently, he's 21 years old, and he's trying to earn a spot in the Jays rotation. So good luck, and we hope you make it, Daniel Norris.
Keep making your eggs out of your van.
Yes, it's apparently working for you.
Segue into our NFL
Woo-hoo!
segment.
I know. What does that sound mean? It's very familiar, isn't it? Right?
Brings you back
listeners?
to the fall. But today is a big day in the NFL.
Yes,
NFL free agency starts today.
Yes,
so.
Cowboys, sign DeMarco Murray. I repeat. Jerry Jones, get that wallet out. We know you have the money. Sign DeMarco Murray. I'm begging you over here.
So I think I'm a Jets fan, Kara's a Cowboys fan.
Yes.
In case you didn't figure that out from that that rant
that
right
now. Just now, please, Jerry Jones, if you're listening, which you probably are not, just please sign DeMarco Murray.
One of the bigger trades that will be solidified today, officialized
we
today.
Hope so. Alyssa hopes so, not me.
No, I don't even hope so. I don't want him.
Oh, never mind. I take it back.
The Jets traded for Brandon Marshall of the Chicago Bears. Yeah. He was a 5th-round pick for the Bears, 5-time Pro Bowl. He has over 700 receiving yards last season, but has played through nagging injuries all year long. But the interesting part about this story is his history with domestic violence and anger management.
Yes.
So in front of me, I literally have a list long on a standard size paper of all of his offenses or possible offenses.
Yes, and it's a very long, guys. It's a very long timeline.
Yeah, it's dating all the way back from 2004 till his most recent case in 2012.
Yeah, so name some of his incidents. I would love to hear about that.
He was in 2004, his first incident in while attending Central Florida. He was arrested and charged with assault on law enforcement officer, refused to obey disorderly conduct, and resisting an officer. Okay. In March of 2007, he was arrested and charged with suspicion of domestic violence. The charges were eventually dismissed after he attended anger management counseling, which is often part of their punishment. And of course,
but I don't see that's not really working. Apparently, right?
He was in 2009, in March 2009. This guy should just not do anything in March because almost all of these offenses have happened in March.
Yeah, stay home, stay home, Brandon.
In March of 2009, he was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct after an alleged fight with his fiance. The charges were dropped the next day.
Yeah, his girlfriend stabbed him, I think.
Yeah, in April of 2011, Marshall was stabbed in his stomach by his wife, who was charged with battery and possession of a deadly weapon.
Wow. And
in March 2012, 2 days before his trade to the Bears, Marshall was accused of hitting a woman in the face at a New York club. The New York Post reported no charges were filed because of the lack of evidence. So great that this guy is coming to New York, where the media around the Jets is a total frenzy. God.
They will have fun with this. I think so. He's going to be in the news almost every single week then.
This trade baffles me because, okay, he might be a value asset on the field.
Yeah, he's a great player on the field, but off the field, his personal life is just insane.
The Jets, you just cleaned house. You got rid of Rex. You got rid of Idzik. You have a clean slate. Why are you bringing in the same problems that you had issues with in the past? This guy is a disaster.
He is.
Off the field. He's going to be a disaster off the field with all the way the media is going to account and hack this because it is such a relevant topic right now to the NFL. He's not going to – it's just not a good idea. Regardless if he first of all, they have no one to throw him the ball. That's the biggest problem to address.
Wait, so they need a QB?
They need more than a quarterback, but they should start with that, yes. They have no one to throw him the ball.
That's what you should start with instead of getting.
So he's not even going to have someone to get the ball from.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to focus off the field because he's in the spotlight of New York media, New York sports media during that time.
And there's a lot of temptations, too, in New York.
And he already has anger management problems. He's going to be... I just don't think he's going to be a good...
And he has a mental illness, too. I think he's bipolar. I know he has something wrong. But do you think that since the NFL is a contact sport, do you think that this attributes to his mental illness?
Yes.
That this caused it? I
think that a lot of the reason why these athletes, I'm not excusing or making excuses at all for all the domestic violence charges put upon these guys, but I do think that the nature of the sport, you have to be somewhat of a violent person and somewhat kind of like you have to be programmed a little differently to have the mindset of I want to make the other person hurt.
But do you think like the head collisions,
of course,
are they affecting how Brandon Marshall is?
I do. I don't maybe I'm not talking specifically for his case, but overall contact to the head does have there's a bunch of studies being done about how this trauma it contributes to these personality disorders. Not only is it memory loss, it's a lot of the time when these players get so depressed and so insecure about themselves and so violent and so dark after their years playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's mostly when they retire,
exactly.
Too.
And if you notice, a lot of the times when players, this is a very somber note, but when they do commit suicide after being in the NFL, they don't shoot themselves in the head. Because they want, and in their suicide notes, it almost always says to study their brain because it's like they know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that's like the weird thing to think about. Like you can't, it's something that needs to seriously be looked over.
Yeah, it does. But the league has to put more studies and money into this situation, I think.
And they will if they want the sport to continue to be as popular as it is because parents are going to be less inclined to enroll their kids in Little League football.
If I were to have a son, I would not put him into football. I may put him into hockey, which is probably crazy, but I wouldn't let him play football because it's not worth it. The money, all the money in the world is not worth what he's going to go through post football career.
And that's especially with these kids having to start so young now with these professional sports.
Yeah. You have to start really young in order to even get into
and you're just
a professional setting.
Exactly. And you're just opening yourself up to the possibility of injury so much younger when your brain is so much less developed.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different aspects that go into this, and I just think that bad trade, but
he is a good player on the field. He is great, but just locker room wise and off the field, that's gonna take more notice than his accomplishments on the field.
And there's only so much you can ignore off the field that doesn't carry on to on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that as an athlete, your sanctuary is your field, is the court, is the ice.
Yeah.
But there's only so much.
You have to be
there's a point where that doesn't help anymore.
Yeah,
you're
have
still
to
a
be
human
a player
first
person
before you're an athlete.
Yeah, you are, and he's been traded a bunch of times. He's been traded, third trade in 5 years, from the Broncos to the Dolphins to the Bears, and that says something about a person if you're traded 3 times in 5 years. And plus, you're putting up great numbers. He has 7 consecutive years of 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, it's probably because he is a liability in the locker room.
Yeah, I think it's just his locker room attitude is just what's making the trade. I think the Jets just looked at his statistics and see that he could fit the team well statistically wise, but off the field he's not a team player. He doesn't fit it.
And when you were talking before about he actually was diagnosed in 2011 with a borderline personality disorder, and since then has been a spokesperson for mental health and has apparently cleaned up his act off the field.
Apparently,
but again, like we said, that the case in 2012 when he was suspected of hitting a woman in the face at a nightclub in New York City. So
yes, the NFL has to stop with these domestic violence cases.
I don't understand why this guy.
I don't even understand why he's in the NFL. I think he should get help, treatment first and foremost. Make sure he's well, and I just don't think he should be in the NFL at all anymore.
I think that once
it's a contact sport, it's going to make him worse.
If you have 2 offenses of the same suspicion of domestic violence or just being a violent person off the field, you should you should not be in the NFL. That's a very unpopular opinion when a player is as good as he is.
Yes, because it's bringing in money apparently, and money talks.
Money does a lot of things.
It does with these NFL free agency right now. Money is talking to a lot of players right now. So DeMarco Murray again, get signed.
So make sure you're keeping up with the NFL free agency updates. I'm sure Twitter is probably clogged with the information.
Yes.
Okay, so we tried doing our segment into our next segment. I don't know why it didn't work. The audio wasn't on. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's not compatible with the computer. But second week of doing our Confessions of a Female Sports Fan.
Yes.
Kara, I did last week's. Kara, you take it away.
So, okay. I have been playing basketball for 10 years, right? And you know how in carnivals and feasts and stuff they have that basketball hoop, and the hoop is a little bit indented in, so it's obviously going to be hard for you to shoot it. So I always try to shoot it. Like, I have a knack for it. I know how to do it. It's a rainbow shot, we call it. And I always do it. And nobody's there most of the time. So I go, I pay my money, and I shoot. As soon as I start shooting, I always see guys surround me or look with their girlfriends and things like that. And they just think, oh, if she could do it, I could do it. And they think they could be successful with it. But let me say this again. I have 10 years of playing basketball. And what annoys me the most is that guys think that they could show up a girl. And that's what annoys me the most. And, like, if she could shoot the ball like a girl, then I could do it since I'm a manly man, and she could hit the rim so I could get it in. And most of the time, the guy embarrasses himself because he's probably never played basketball a day in his life. But he sees me doing it, and it's like, well, I could be successful in this and win my girlfriend a little stuffed animal or show my boys up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm horrible at basketball, so I usually avoid those at carnivals.
Yes.
But I know what you mean when you're,
Yes.
especially, I played softball for forever, so if I was ever practicing with my dad or something on a field on the weekend,
Yeah.
people would always stop by like, wow, she has a great arm, as if it was a surprise. Like,
Yeah. It's like an amazing, like, they've never seen a girl throw a ball before or even shoot a basket. It's like, dude, come on. I could do the same thing you could do. That's what
anything you can do, I can do better.
Yes, and also, I do like the attention at times, but I just don't like how I'm stereotyped into being that girl, like a girl that can't be athletic. You know what I mean? Like, more stereotype, like, oh, guys could do it better if a girl could do it. And that's what really annoys me the most with this whole thing. And also, you know how the Super Bowl commercial had the Like a Girl campaign and the Like a Girl ad, which has been buzzing around the internet, and a lot of people have done positive feedback about it. And Always, which is a feminine product, they were sponsoring the Like a Girl campaign, and they're trying to make the slogan seem more of, instead of an insult, seem more of something that's to bring confidence to women and as a talent and strong and showing them they're amazing. So they want us to promote photos and vines and things like that with the hashtag Like a Girl on social media to show that, you know, we could do it too, guys. We could do better than you.
Yeah, so all of our listeners, we're gonna have, from now on, when Kara and I and Sam, our goal is to incorporate the Like a Girl campaign into our show, into our tweets, into our social media outreach, and just try and, you know, our show, we want our listeners to do the same, because it's a cause that not only gives us the reason of why it helps us justify why we're doing this show, is because this is not something that like a lot of girls do, because maybe it's because talking like a girl doesn't mean talking about sports. So that's, like I said, it's the premise of our show. We want to continue doing it.
Yeah, we do. It's to promote confidence in women. And also Hillary Knight, who was an Olympian and who was an amazing hockey player, is also involved in this campaign. And she just also wants to instill confidence in young girls and tear down the stereotypes. She also had, I think it was a commercial, that you shoot like a girl commercial.
Yeah, I
thought that ad and commercial, I think it's amazing. And we just want to instill that confidence. And I really do. I just hate that stereotype. It's been following me around for what, like 16 years? Like, I've started playing sports since I was like 4, 5 years old. And I just hate that.
I can't agree more. I mean, always being like, I'm sure that the little girl who we talked about at the beginning of the show, 11-year-old Mia, I'm sure that when she went to school on Monday and was like, what did you do for your birthday? I went to a hockey game. And I'm sure guys in her class like, oh wow, that's cool, and I'm sure girls like, why did you do that? That's not, because that's something that happens. It happens when you're at that age, around 11 years old, 10 years old, when you start when you start to think, okay, you know, people start to instill in that stereotype, like you can't do things as well as boys
like,
can if they have something to do with the athletics,
Yeah,
particularly.
Right. Yeah, because I've always, like, personally, I've always felt different. Even with, like, I went to an all-girls Catholic school, Font Hall Academy, and even Alyssa, she went to the Mary Lewis Academy.
Yes, the Mary Lewis Academy.
Yes, and I sometimes felt like an outsider because I was always the girl who spoke about sports and loved it, and people just looked at me like, come on, like, why don't you talk about this new Louis Vuitton bag I had? And I always felt like a little bit of an outsider in my group of girls because, you know, it's not really that common about women in sports. When I was in an all-girls school, and I love this campaign and what it stands for, and now I kind of feel accepted in a way. I don't know.
Good for you, Kara.
Yes. I'm like venting a little bit right now. It's a venting session on Throw Like a Girl Radio. And yeah. And I think that's it for today's show. What do you think, Alyssa?
I mean, I think we have actually, we don't have time to play this, but maybe next week we'll start off with the Mike Francesca call.
Oh, that call was awesome.
So, preview to next week. Tune in if you want to hear it. It was really funny. It's a typical something that would happen on the Francesca show.
If you're a fan.
Yeah. So, thank you again so much for listening to Throw Like a Girl Radio, WBCR's first all-female sports talk show. I'm Alyssa Paolicelli.
And I'm KaraAnne Galante.
We'll be back same time, same place next Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Let us know what you thought about our show on social media. Facebook.com/Throw Like a Girl Radio, Twitter @ThrowLikeA_girl, and Instagram Throw Like a Girl Radio, one word. We'll be posting our next episode of Throw Like a Girl Radio on SoundCloud. Maybe another episode because I think we ran out of space on SoundCloud.
Yes, they want money from us all the time.
So tune in tomorrow at 7 for The Good Vibe with Brian McGee, and Thursday at 5 for Heat and Ace Radio with Faraz Tor. Come back next Tuesday at 4 by listening to us on mywbcr.com or downloading the TuneIn Radio app and searching Brooklyn College Radio. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers.
Have a good week.
Yes.
Enjoy the
Bye-bye,
nice weather.
guys.